And Amanda, new data from AAA reports that almost half of children injured in a car crash were not in a car seat.
September is Baby Safety Month, and car safety should be top of mind when on the road. Joining us live over Zoom is Clay Ingram from AAA Alabama. Clay, tell us more about this data and what AAA is doing to help.
Yeah, it's a big problem, as you just said, and it's something that a lot of parents kind of forget about sometimes, or maybe they don't know enough about what the laws are in Alabama or other states, or maybe they just feel like they know better for their kids. But whatever the case may be, we need to stay on top of this. You know, the kids can't put themselves in a car seat or a booster seat. And they don't know to do that either. And they look to the parents. They rely on the parents to look out for their best interests. So we have that huge responsibility of protecting our kids when they're traveling in a car. And we did a study, AAA did a study looking back at stats between 2017 and 2021, that 5-year period there. And we found that across the country, that there were 4 million kids aged 10 and younger that were involved in a crash of some kind. And of those 4 million, there were more than 500,000 that suffered injuries and almost 2,800 fatalities across the country. And it was all because they either weren't wearing a seatbelt at all, or they were wearing a seatbelt prematurely when they should have been in a booster seat or a car seat of some kind.
And Clay, most parents know those babies need to be strapped in. You just mentioned a booster seat. Why is it important for our bigger kids that we don't skip that booster seat phase?
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. And there's no point in time when a child should be unrestrained in a vehicle. From the time they're first born up until they're old enough to drive themselves, they always need to have some type of restraint. And every state's laws are a little bit different. Some are based on age, some are based on size. The Alabama law requires a rear-facing car seat for any infant that's 20 pounds or less. And then after that, you can have a forward-facing car seat between 20 pounds and 40 pounds. But once they get to be 6 years old, then they would qualify for a booster seat up until age 15, and then they just need a regular car seat at that point in time. I'm sorry, after 6 years old, they're required to be in a regular seat belt until they're 15. But then at 15, everybody has to be in a seat belt of some kind, 15 or older here in Alabama. So it's something that we don't need to overlook. I know the kids don't like it. It's uncomfortable for them and they complain, but they get used to it pretty quickly, and they need to have those on.
And we as parents are used to making our children do things that they don't want to do, but it's good for them. That is our job as parents. Clay, installing a car seat is not easy. Where can people go for help with that?
It's very, very tricky. It seems like it would be very simple, but it's not. And there's a certain way to do a certain type of seat, and if you're doing it incorrectly, it could lead to injury. So most fire stations across Alabama have somebody that's certified to install those, and they don't charge anything to do it. You just swing by your local fire station and ask if they have somebody that can install that for you. It just takes a few minutes. They know how to do it correctly, and it might make the difference in whether your child is injured in a crash or not.
Clay, perhaps just as important as making sure our children are buckled in the proper safety restraint is making sure we as parents are exhibiting behavior behind the wheel that also keeps them safe.
Absolutely right. And our children start watching our driving behavior and our driving habits at a very, very early age. And if you're not wearing your seatbelt, then they're not going to want to wear theirs. And if you are an aggressive, angry driver, they're going to become one too when they get their license. And if you're a dangerous, risky, speeding driver, they're going to do the same thing. So all of us are setting the stage and setting the tone for our kids' driving habits, and they start watching us 3, 4, 5 years old, you would be very surprised at how early they pick up on things. So we need to remember that, and we need to set a positive example and a safe example for our kids. And a lot of times, a lot of drivers out there don't realize how early we start training our kids, whether we mean to or not. So it's something we need to all take a sort of a step back and look at our driving habits and do a better job with that.
One simple step as soon as you get in that car, strapping yourself and your kids in, can save lives. Clay, where can more people go for additional information?
There's lots of resources out there that have a lot of really great information. AAA.com has a lot of information out there. The National Traffic Highway Safety Administration has a lot of great information out there as well. All of it's free, it's easy to access, and it's very, very important that we educate ourselves on how to protect our children.
Clay, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.